Ty Herndon on What Matters Most on the Music Universe podcast. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good, man. How are you hanging in there?
Oh, hanging in there. What is it, March 902? I don't know.
We're what, 1,000 years old now by this point?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. But you know that what's making it bearable now is that the nicer days are coming. I can spend my Saturdays out, and we have a nice big driveway. I literally, I know I've talked about this before, but my exercise is to go out and just pace the driveway and just wander around. I can't do exercise equipment. I'm not that kind of person, but I'll go out and I can be outside 2-3 hours. It doesn't bother me on my feet, and I'll just listen to an entire set list of concert music that I've put together, live albums, and then I'll go in. So it's like the duration of a concert because I miss concerts that much and I'm going insane. So
finally, things are starting to open back up. At least in California, they're further along in phase 2, meaning not only can they do curbside pickup, they can actually allow customers inside of stores, very limited, of course, and dine-in restaurants can finally reopen. We're still not quite as far along to allow concerts yet, but one in Arkansas that happened recently, being the first one back. Actually, they sold it in pods, and it went from about 1,100 capacity to about 250 people. It did go on, and surprisingly, it sounds like it went off without a hitch. But I don't know if that's going to be the new future for concerts right now, or if we're going to be able to, finally attend before the end of the year. Most artists have either postponed or canceled at this point. Many canceling, so that way you're assured a refund, while others are postponing. So I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and see that part out. And Ty actually had a big summer tour lined up, and then now that's just kind of been put to the wayside.
Well, and he's a guy who deserves it. He's living his truth, which I think is what country music is all about. Ty Herndon it was such a joy to talk to him because you'll hear him say the phrase many times. He's an open book. And speaking of concerts and concert venues, he has a very unique way that he's working on getting some fundraising for the Nashville Artist Relief Fund, and while also using the brand names of some clubs around the country and licensing their names and doing shows in that vein. So it's really, really fascinating to hear how he's getting creative in this time.
Yeah, it's totally cool, and I'm super excited about the interview. He was a blast, and I think everyone will be able to hear that in our interview with Ty Herndon.
Ty Herndon, welcome to the Music Universe podcast. You should not have said you're an open book because we're going to go deep today. Sir, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing?
I can take it.
I love it.
Dude, I'm sitting on the tailgate of my pickup truck out in front of my house. So there's, that's pretty much an open book right there.
Good.
So. Awesome.
Good. How much property do you have? Are you able to spread out while we're all staying home? Are you good to go?
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. My mom lives 15 minutes from here for the last, couple months. It's interesting to have your mom stand at the front door and go, "You can't come in the house." I said, "Mom, I wasn't planning on it, but I don't want you to ever say that to me again."
No.
So we have found humor in our safety because I think so much is going on in the world today, and there's so many opinions, and there's so many people are wearing their hearts on their sleeves. I think, the most important thing is to follow the rules and to listen. I've learned to really listen, and I've always kind of done that as a songwriter, but it's a different level of listening because you kind of listen for exactly what people need, and for my family, we've been very, very clear about what we need and what the rules are, and for our friends and for our loved ones, to be there for those who are not doing as well. And just as my grandmother used to say, "Son, try to be a blessing in somebody's day." So we try to live by that.
Now, you just moved. You mentioned your house. You just moved. How'd you pull that off during this pandemic? And did you move to be closer to your mother?
No, I actually I had. I always like to say this. I've been so blessed in my life, and we had one of the the biggest tours booked for me in a long time that was taking place this summer, and we'll talk about this later, but a documentary and all kind of stuff on the books that we will still do. But
Nice.
immediately for me, and I know a lot of people felt this way. I know you guys will relate to this, but immediately for me, with the things that I've been through in my life, my entire system, when I heard the news that this country was shutting down, the tour was off, everything was done, and my entire body and system went back to, oh my God, it's okay. Life is kind of over. Everything I've worked for, I went into victim mode immediately. We'll get the heavy stuff out of the way here right up front. And, I kind of became, I've been sober a long time, and I kind of became that kid that was curled up in the corner that had no idea what to do. My body remembered that in a time of, because in my worst days, I've always been able to go out and do a show and make it better. But all of a sudden I'm being told I can't do that anymore. I'm being told that my brothers and sisters are losing their houses because they can't pay their house payment. And then my fellow musicians. And for me, it was like, bye guys, see you later. All right. Hey, I told you, tailgate truck up. And I was kind of frozen for a minute, and it was my this is my mother. We just talked about my mother. So she called me one afternoon. She said, hey, you know that platform you have? I said, what are you talking about? She goes, you know that platform you have where you stand on it and you tell people and you help people and you sing? I said, you mean the stage? She goes, no. I mean the platform that you have. I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, how much is it for sale for? Because you're not using it.
Oh, savage mama. I love that.
I said, excuse me? She goes, well, if you're just going to be sitting over there in the corner and losing your mind about what you think you have lost, she goes, well, you might as well sell that platform because you're being of no use to anyone. And I burst into tears. I was like, oh my God, I became this 6-year-old. I get a little emotional about it now, but moms, thank you moms out there for, this Mother's Day was extremely special because I got to kind of say, hey mom, thanks for reminding me of the stock I came from.
Oh yeah. They have no bones about doing that.
And she said something so poignant. She goes, well, if you don't know by now. So that's my story about my mom, and I am obviously out of the corner and I'm doing well, and we are about to launch a whole brand of new stuff that we're doing just to help our fellow musicians and help people get back on their feet.
Talk a little bit more about that. What's the initiative?
Well, the initiative for us is, the Academy of Country Music has a musicians fund. Music Cares here in Nashville has a music fund to help on many levels, people that are in the music business, connected to the music business. And quite honestly, those bank accounts are getting close to empty. So for us, it's just about, we are doing concerts online. We're doing something really cool. We're actually, I said, okay, so the venues are not going to come to me and hire me right now. What if I go to the venues and hire them? And my agent called me across the eye. They're like, what? I said, I want to hire a few venues. I want to hire their brand. I want to do these concerts exactly like we have done them before, except their mailing list and their fans get to just kind of tune in, and they get to sell those tickets. And we'll be doing a 75-minute set. We created a stage, and all of their mailing lists will be able to tune into it, and and of course any of the fans that want to. So. And it's just a kind of a rebranding of artists being able to. We don't want these venues to go away. I mean, come on. These are Kristen Chenoweth said something kind of cool to me. She goes, "Hey, you guys that are selling the 250 seats are kind of king right now." I said, "Really? Okay, well." I said, "Amazing. Well, let's go do it." Eat your heart out, Luke Bryan.
Exactly.
He's my friend. I'm just kidding.
No, I love it. Buddy, I'm going to kind of steal your question because off of what Ty is saying here, first of all, I want to let you know I came out in 2013.
Congratulations.
And watching your story, it's interesting to hear you say that you're doing all this to support Nashville, to support the Music Row and all of this, because we were wondering, in those early days when you were finally acknowledging your truth, did you feel like you had lost that sense of Nashville community a little bit? And did it take some time to come back to it?
It was interesting because I had some trouble in my career way early on, and I felt more like at that time I had lost my connection to Nashville. Of course, that was really a really horrible time for me, but coming out, I was in a much healthier frame of mind. So I think one thing we've been talking about is mental health right now, because people are mental health is very important right now. And so I'm gonna just add this in there. People, check on your family, check on your friends, because we don't really know on a daily basis what's going on. So I lost a couple of friends already just from some mental health issues. So, but to answer your question, I think I was in a much better place when I came out, and I also was in a place that I knew that I had to be good in my bones and my skin. And if I never got to sing again, I had to be okay with that, because it was more important for me to be happy. Now, could I be happy without music? No, it would have found a way. But
Right.
I knew that I had to be able to mentally say I could walk away from this if I wasn't accepted and welcome. And when I go and talk to kids today, I'm so grateful to say that was not my story. My community, Nashville, really embraced me. And I give a lot of that credit to a young lady named Shelley Wright, because she came out 7 years prior to me and really, took some hard hits. And, but she has also flourished. And so, but there are those who always come before us. And I'm happy to say that I had a good teacher in her, and what to expect, and also to expect the unexpected.
Yeah, totally. And that had to probably be, if not one of the most hardest things you've ever done.
Well, it was a hard decision. And people say, "Oh, it's so easy to come out." I'm like, "Excuse me, come here and sit down. We need to talk about this for a minute. Let's go. I'm going to sit you down and talk to you like Oprah would." That is not true. That is not true. It's so much mental anguish and decision and conversations, because coming out doesn't just, it is your freedom, but you have to look at, okay, I've got this pretty awesome family, and how's it going to affect my kid brother? How's it going to affect? Now, you still get to come out, but you have the opportunity to have the conversations and know what to expect coming out. Now, with some of these kids, and they're not safe to come out, we absolutely say don't. Let's build you a safe family, that you have a soft place and a safe place to fall, or to land. I hate that word, fall, to land. And so it's not as easy as just, I'm sure you know this, it's just saying, hey, I'm making this announcement one day. And with Shelley, with Billy Gilman, with so many of my some of the celebrity friends that I have, you were taking a chance at losing family, at friends, career, over something that I feel like today is it's not something you should lose anything over. And I'm going to keep talking if you guys don't mind. And when I talk to kids today,
Please.
I also tell them, and I've got a chance to do the LGBT Center in Los Angeles, a lot of Zoom conversations today. That hasn't stopped. Just to say, look, you are in charge of your coming out. You're in charge of what that looks like. And if you want to come to Nashville and be a songwriter, a singer, a movie star, if you want to go to Hollywood, then train for those things and be the best that you can be. And I promise you, your sexuality has nothing to do with that, really. It's your brain and your heart and your creativity. So I love being able to tell that story.
It's beautiful. That is beautiful, because people worry in Nashville. I mean, it was a storyline in the TV show Nashville. What happens to a career when somebody comes out? And it is so wonderful to see you doing this and continuing to be an artist and your authentic self.
Thank you. And I will say this, that TV show Nashville, they told my story and they never paid me, by the way. So y'all, they owe me some money.
Oh, yes.
You should be getting some royalties on that.
Absolutely. I've been hit in the head by a beer bottle. He wasn't the only one. I actually got to be friends with Chris, the actor, and we talked on the phone several times. But I'm like, yeah, that beer bottle happened, man. Hit me smack in the head.
Now, that was a very powerful show. It kind of, not 100% exactly like the way the business works, but it makes you wonder for sure if, that kind of stuff happens. So any,
it does in Texas.
I mean, yeah, oh yeah, I bet. So how much of, and I know we're joking about the national storyline, how much of that storyline can you, like, is that 100% relatable, or maybe a portion of it relatable? I mean, how much of that is actually you?
101% yeah, relatable. I think, between Shane McNally and myself, a lot of people were able to, they interviewed me quite a few times about the show. And a lot of the storylines were from uncomfortable moments and, from walking into radio stations and not being welcome, just because of a rumor. And, walking on stage just, because somebody said something about you, and having, actually I've been stabbed in the hand and a beer bottle thrown at me. And that's way before I came out. So, it's just, I think people fear what they don't understand, and that fear can turn into action, and action can really hurt people. And so I think they did a really good job of portraying that on the show. And, and it was, it educated people that had never been talked about or been a storyline on anything to do with Nashville. So it was appreciated, actually.
Well, let's get back to talking about the music. Are you taking this time to write anything, to work on anything of your own, music wise, now that you're settled in the new house?
Well, to be honest with you, once once my mama decided not to sell my platform, and I got my head out of my butt, I just jumped into what music was going to look like for the fans, and still producing other artists. And there's a little girl in Alabama we're producing right now, and she's amazing. And seeing shows like American Idol, still doing it from home. Music will always find a way. It doesn't matter. From the worst times we've ever been in our existence, music and entertainment will always find a way. And I'm grateful to see that, we couldn't go to the fans, but they're sure coming to us. For me, man, we just did a new original song. We just wrote a new original song. Yeah, man. But, I am writing, and my producer and I are writing songs. We're creating new platforms for online. And hopefully later this year or at the earliest of next year, we'll be able to go back to venues. And we don't know what that's going to look like. But until then, people are still going to buy music. I know that I bought the new Bonnie Raitt album back when I got out of rehab, and I couldn't even afford a jar of peanut butter. But I bought the Bonnie Raitt album.
Oh yeah, you got to have music.
I know how that feels.
So we're coming up on a year of your Got It Covered album. Tell us, and that's you covering a lot of songs, including Bonnie Raitt, Mark Cohn, and Carrie Underwood, and some reimaginings of your own songs too. Tell us about what inspired you to do that and how those songs have affected you.
Well, I'm going to be very, very honest with you, because that's just how I roll today. We put out a gorgeous album before that. It didn't get a whole lot of attention. It was all brand new, original written stuff. And, I'm not on a major record label anymore. Curiously enough, I'm back on Sony, where I had most of my hits, but I'm on Sony distribution. And, they do what they can without having a radio hit to get the music out there. So you're kind of dependent on webinars and interviews like you guys are doing, and just to get the music out there. And I decided, okay, I got to do something really special here. I've got to do something that makes some noise. And so that's how this whole idea was born. I'm going to record some of my friends' songs. I'm going to reimagine some of my songs, and I'm going to throw some dance mixes on there. And just kind of really puts me in the envelope of current me. So,
Yeah.
that, and then my dear producer, Eric Halbig, because I've been singing the alternative version of What Mattered Most. Eric's worked with me for 20 something years. He goes, "You've been singing this under your breath forever. Why don't you just sing it out loud, dude?" I said, "Brilliant. I'm gonna." And it was the 25th anniversary of the song. And so I started the album with the new version. I put my money where my mouth is with all these kids that I'm telling to come to Nashville and just do your art, do the best that you can do. And I loved what we created with that song. And I had no fear about it until I walked in the studio to sing it. I only sang it through twice. I did a totally in rhymes moment. I will tell you right now. I walked in, I sang the first verse, and that's what you hear. I got to the chorus. I just freaking lost it. I mean, I started just weeping, and all the guys in the studio kind of just cleared the room. They let me have that moment. And I think there was 25 years of singing that song kind of just welled up in me, and the freedom of that moment. And so we took a pause, came back in, and I started that chorus, the first chorus, and I sang it out, and that's what you hear on the record. I refused to sing anymore. I was like, "You're not going to get it. That's the best you're going to get out of me." That's the story behind that song. And so we opened the record with that, and out of respect for the songwriters and the song itself for 25 years, I closed it with the original version because it also deserved my respect. It was the ship that carried me a long ways. And now I started one way, and I started the regular way and ended the new way, and people come to their feet. Well, when they could, hopefully they'll be back. Now they're getting their feet at home. I love it.
That's amazing, because I watched the music video literally 10 minutes before we came online to do this, and you can sense just the way the music video was done. You can sense the emotion in that room from everybody there who loves you for you, and obviously put their heart into seeing you do it that way. And we're going to air this, I think, I was talking with Buddy, I'm hoping we'll air this in June, Pride Month, a year to the date of the album. Thank you for doing it that way.
I will be putting that out on my socials. Well, absolutely. That'll be great.
Awesome. Oh, we're not done yet. I'm just telling you right now that that's what we're going to do. And I'm telling you, thank you for doing it. How hard was it singing it live in the 90s, the original way? Was it harder to connect to the song when you were singing it live before this version, or was it?
It was harder to connect with it in the studio the day I recorded it. And, my producer at the time, Doug Johnson, had a good idea what was going on with me, and I'm sure he wondered why this handsome cowboy kept coming to the studio to visit me all the time that I'd been with for 14 years. It's like, I don't think you guys are just friends. So I kind of just, I looked at William, and I just kind of, there's a cool story to that too. I just kind of imagined I was, singing it to him, and got through the song, and man, rest is history. That thing took off like gangbusters. And honestly, I never thought it would. I mean, I was just kind of hoping for it because I was in hiding. I thought, wow, I want a nice little medium career, just have a few chart records, and I can work. I didn't expect Sony to do such a good job. Thing took off like crazy, and it became harder and harder to hide. And as you know, if you know anything about me, you know that I became a severe drug addict and almost lost my life a couple of times. And and by the grace of God, that was not my story. I did not lose my life, and I'm here to tell a bigger story today.
What was the kick in the ass? The
kick in the ass for the drugs, the addiction, you mean?
The whole thing, yeah. What was it?
Oh, wow, the whole kick in the ass. Oh, the kit and caboodle. Standing in front of 30,000 people. No, excuse me, with Garth standing in front of, what was it, 45,000 people one day, and the next day barely able to get 200 people to come to a show. Yeah, so
Wow.
it was king for a moment. I'm going to write that song too.
There you go.
But my story wasn't king for a moment. My story was king for a lifetime, and it's been spectacular. So in my 10 minutes in the corner with Virus from Hell, I can't say the words my mama would kick my ass for one to say right now about this virus.
Yeah.
But I believe, I'm a godly man. I believe it's, something straight from the depths of the deepest root of hell. And it's our job to kick its ass back there.
Mhm.
So people, wear your mask, wash your hands, and don't go sardine deep in nightclubs when they tell you can. So.
Yeah, I mean, everything's starting to possibly, in California where I'm at, things are starting to open up a little at a time. And
listen, I think our
flare.
economy cannot die. Our economy cannot die. And I won't get political in this interview, but I will tell you this, because I'm not political. I'm factual. And I just think we have to open our country back up. But we have a responsibility to be careful. We have a responsibility to our children, to our grandparents, to those who are weaker than us, to be careful. Wear your mask, wash your hands, touch doorknobs, wipe them off. Just use common sense. And, I listened to my mother, and that's all she said to do. So I'm like, I'm gonna listen to my mom. I'm not gonna listen to anybody else right now.
So you've got an anniversary coming up. It's pretty important. Why don't you tell us about that and what you guys have planned?
Oh man, I wish I could tell you the whole plan right now, but I'm going to tell you as much as I can. But when I came out, I wanted to do something so special for. I didn't want any more of those kids sitting at home watching the Country Music Awards that they couldn't love themselves enough to come to Nashville and just be special. So everyone matters. So we started the Ty Herndon Love and Acceptance Foundation, and this coming June 2nd will be our 6-year anniversary for that. And we have a huge announcement coming about how we're going to honor that. And you know me, you guys got anything from this conversation, I'm not going to let that pass by. No, sir. Yeah. We're going to do something really special. So the Concert for Love and Acceptance, well, let's just say, stay tuned. See, I want to say it so bad, I'm not even going to do it. Stay tuned, guys. Thank you.
An open book was right. Ty, this was fantastic. I could go for a whole heck of a lot longer. Please come back. This was a thrill.
I will, man. You got to let me off the phone because I'm starting to get political. We don't want that.
No. Trust me.
We got Shelley Wright for that. She's our preacher and teacher.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Well, you guys have been spectacular, and I think I love the fact that you allow me to be an open book. So thank you.
Well, you never know. You never know comfort level. You came out, you did it. Is it in the past, or do you still talk about it? That's why we always approach cautiously. We're never one for the ambush. We're never one to just go for the jugular like that. That's not who we are.
Well, I appreciate that. But as my hubby says, if you don't ask him, he's going to say it anyway.
Good.
And that's what matters.
You see, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I left out the most important part.
Yeah, I love it. This is awesome.
I love when they come on and they just want to have a conversation and aren't so formal and want to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And I feared, my biggest fear was that he would be more guarded. Like, my history's my history and let's focus on the now. Right. But no, he realizes and recognizes it as part of his story. And that was such a cool thing to hear.
Yeah. And I was really surprised the Nashville topic of the TV series, that he was consulted on that. So kind of,
well,
put that
unofficially.
In a different perspective. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still kind
when
of.
When you see it, Chris, anybody who knows country music, when you see Chris Carmack's storyline on there, you can't help but think Ty and Billy Gilman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this was our most honest interview so far that we've done, most revealing and personal. But it was a thrill. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure we will be talking to him again soon.
Oh, yeah. Would love to work with him.
Alrighty. Well, for the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt.
And I'm Buddy. Thanks for listening, and keep checking out themusicuniverse.com, and don't forget to subscribe.